Okay, didn't plan on doing this video, but since the opportunity is here, I've been keeping bees just in my backyard for, I don't know, since about 2012. And so I came out of winter this year and I had 6 colonies. I had 3 back in there, and then I had these 3 closest to the fence right here. And last year I really didn't do hardly anything whatsoever. I may have opened the colonies up once or twice, but I just left them alone. I had other things I was working on. But I wasn't really sure if I was going to ramp up my honey production and stuff again this year, but it looks like I'm going to, whether I want to or not. I've already caught 1 swarm a couple of weeks ago, and one of these colonies swarmed, and I found the bunch up on that one of those branches on that apple tree. I was able to catch it, and that is now in this box. Okay, so it's in that one, and I haven't opened it up since, but I'm hopefully in the next week or so I'm going to get in there and see how it's doing. I need to reduce the openings. I don't like having the openings wide open. I want them to be very, very small, about $1/4 to $1/2 size at best. But anyway, so there's 1 swarm. Another colony, the second one, the taller one over on the very far left, it started to swarm, kind of did a test one, and within about an hour they had gone back in. So I've been planning on going in there and doing a split. Just haven't had a time to do that. I didn't have enough frames made up. I've got enough boxes, and I've got a decent amount of empty frames, but I don't have any foundation or anything, so I had to order some. I did split that tallest one. Let's see what happened to that one. Oh yeah, I had that split, and that actually made the one on the far left with the green bottom. So actually I came out came out of winter with 5. So I've caught a swarm, did a split. Then I had a buddy who had a beekeeping business, and he and his brother, and they decided to sell out. And then he had 2 colonies left at his uncle's. He asked if I wanted them. And I said, sure, just give me a chance to get some things ready. Well, I've now went and got one of those. That's the nukes, the 3 nukes that are stacked there with the straps around them. I literally just got them back to the house. I'm going to leave them sealed up for a couple of days because I'm right on the border of 2 miles from the original location. So usually they say 2 feet or 2 miles. If you only go like about a mile away, a lot of times when you open it up, if it's too soon, they will come out and go straight back because they're already in their regular territory and go straight back to where they were before. And but if it's more than 2 miles, a lot of times they won't recognize where they are and they'll stay. So there's that possibility. Now, either that colony or the sister colony to it, which is had a deep and I think at least 4 mediums or shallows on it. It's a pretty good sized colony. One of the 2 of them had swarmed there, and it was actually in a tree right there close. I was able to cut that out last night, and it's in that box. Now I do have that one open since it is a fresh swarm. They haven't really acclimated to the area. They expect to be in a different area. Plus I put all the branches right in front of it, and hopefully when they come out they'll say, hey, I'm somewhere different, I need to figure out where I am. And they seem to be doing that, because the ones that are coming out, they come out and they immediately turn around. I doubt you can see it real well, but if you can, they'll come out and they will immediately turn around, face the hive body itself, and then start kind of going in circles and stuff. And what they're doing is they're trying to get oriented to what it looks like, and then whatever their internal GPS is gets set that this is now home. And putting all those branches in front kind of is a trick that supposedly works. So they wonder where they are. Something has changed when they come out. So that's why I've got that one open, but I have not opened this other one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm up to 9 with another colony that I need to bring home, and I'm probably going to do at least 1 or 2 splits on it because it's got so many boxes. If I tried to pick it up, a deep box, which is 3rd one from the left, that tallest one, the bottom box is a deep. If it was full of honey, which the bottom ones rarely are, but if it was full of honey, it would weigh 100 pounds. The two on top of it, and most of the rest of them I've got are mediums, and they can be 50 to 60 pounds. So if you've got 5 or 6 boxes, that could possibly be 200 to 300 pounds. There's no way I can pick that up. So what I'm planning on doing is taking some of my boxes, some new foundation that I've got, make up some new frames, and then as I go through that one on a good day, then I may kind of do 1 or 2 splits, break it into 2 or 3 colonies that'll be small enough that I can then seal up, put in the back of the pickup, drive over here for that. Now here's the problem. I'm running out of room. Normally, when I have had more than 10 colonies before, I had another stand or another row right in this area. So that's where I have put them before. But I wasn't planning on having this many colonies this year. So I've already put in an elderberry and a blueberry and 3 currants and some raspberries. I've been planting this area out. And I can't rip them up now because they're already starting to leaf out. So I've got enough room for 1 colony here. And I'm not really sure exactly what I'm going to do. I may put another one right there. I may have to turn that one to face the north or the east, which is that way. I may have to face it east towards that current, which I'd rather not do with it being that close. And then put another couple of colonies next to that until maybe I can find somebody that'll be willing to let me start putting some colonies at their land someplace. But here's what prompted me to actually do this particular video. I moved those colonies from my pickup truck and then happened to notice, turn around and look, and I've got another swarm from one of my colonies, very likely. Not really sure, but in any case, there it is. It's extremely easy to get to. It's extremely docile right now. So I've got my frames made up. That's an extra hive body that I've got. So I'm just going to set the camera down and you get to watch me either successfully get this colony in there or have something amusing. So anyway. Okay, so this hive body, I've got some old comb. This is some of the old stuff. Put it on the outside. I've got some brand new. It's an old frame, but brand new plastic foundation, and that plastic foundation has got a wax coating on it. And then there's an empty one in here as well. I've had this sitting out as a bait box that had a couple of frames, old frames in there, and some lure, which is made mainly out of lemongrass oil. So my hope and my goal here is literally to just scoop them over. Now, there's probably a queen in here. They usually, when they swarm out, they will swarm with a queen, and they will ball up around her to keep her warm. And it was cold last night, and it's expected to be very cold tonight. So somewhere in this is a queen. Once she's in here, they will start advertising that she's in there, and I'll put the lid on it, and you'll be able to tell they're advertising because they probably won't be close enough. I'll try, but they'll come out on the front board. They turn around to face it with their butts pointing to the back and fanning. And what they're doing is they're taking her pheromone, her scent, fanning it out to tell all the rest of the bees that are coming by she's in here. And that's a way to know that you have gotten the queen. I don't take a lot of time to try to sit there and find her. Typically when they're like this, they're very docile because they don't have anything to protect. I think what we try to do I may get a brush. brush can be a little bit more gentle than even just a spatula. Through the power of editing, you'll notice that I have put on my veil because maybe because of the cold coming up, they were not quite as docile as I had hoped. Now, the longer they are on the branch, they are pinging me hard. The longer they're on the branch, the more comb they are going to build, and the stronger the scent of that queen is going to be on that branch, and they will continue to come back. I'm just trying to get as many of them as I can onto the box, hoping they will go in there, and hoping I have the queen in there as well. And let's let them calm down a little bit. See if they start going inside. More of a protected environment I can make for them, hopefully the more they will like it and go in. So what I'm looking for right now is I'm looking and watching the bees on the top and on the landing board, and if you notice, you're starting to see them walk in. Okay? So little by little, even the ones on the ground are starting to walk inside. The ones on top, that mass on top is starting to go down between the frames. And go down inside. Now at some point, if I start seeing, and actually I see one right now, but I want more than one. When I start seeing them sticking their rear ends out, facing in, sticking the rear ends out and fanning, then that will give me a fairly good sign that I know I got the queen in there. And they're advertising to the rest to come on in. But the fact that I'm seeing them start marching inside is telling me that they, so far they like it. And I don't see like any clumps. I don't see any clumping up out here, which would indicate, you know, maybe the queen is on the ground and they're clumping out around her. And what I can do is just leave this here, and then the bees naturally will go into their colony, or in this case where the swarm was, as night falls. And as the night falls, so they kind of go home. Now I will advise you, if you're new to beekeeping, dusk is the worst time to try to go into a colony. Don't be trying to open it up. I don't care what the weather is, because from what I understand, what I've been taught, that is the time that predators tend to come out and try to get into colonies. So the bees are naturally more defensive around dusk. However, once they are inside pretty good, then you can seal the box up so they can't get out, and then you can move it. and that way you get most of the bees to take with you to leave. During the day, it's usually better to open the colony and do inspections in the middle of the day when they're flying heavily, because a vast number of the bees will be out, and if they tend to get a little bit, as a lot of beekeepers call it, pissy, get a little bit defensive, there are fewer of them. They're busy trying to do things. It needs to be 50 degrees or higher. Basically, just watch. If you see them flying pretty heavily, and it's good weather and you don't have a front coming in, then it may be a good day to go ahead and go into them. But yeah, they're just continuing to march, and I'm seeing some on the top that seem to be fanning. So the ones that are on the ground are marching in. I'm really hoping to start seeing some of the ones on the tree itself come down the tree. And when I think there's enough of them in the colony, and I'm pretty sure that the queen is in there, then I'll go ahead and put the lid fully on. But if you notice, there's a bee right there, right there, right there, a couple down here, and several up top that have their rear ends. You're seeing more of them. Their rear ends they're staying put, rear ends are pointed out, and they're fanning. So that's advertising the rest of the bees to come in. If they were being defensive, they'd be turned around the other way, facing out, facing me or whatever they think the threat is. But they're continuing to walk in. I see lots of fanning here. I don't see a clump up here that's up above that's getting larger. If the queen was up here, then they would be marching up to her. I may take my brush and try to rake a few more down on top. Just the more I can get down there, faster, even if they end up just on the ground. Ones on the ground, instead of flying back up, seem to be marching in. Yeah, they don't like that too much. Step back 2 or 3 feet. Maybe they're popping my veil. And back up, back up, back up. Being very careful, trying not to put the lid on top and squish any of them. So what I've done is I've pulled it away so they can't hide between the hive body and the front. Faced the front of the hive towards them. And again, just trying to gently invite them, invite them, cajole them into going in. It'll be interesting to see on the video how loud the buzzing is, because there's about 8 or 10 bees right on top of this camera. Again, and I've tried to close the entrance up a little bit. If if you notice, that girl right there, that girl, that girl, that girl, that girl, you notice all those bees right there at the front that are wiggling their rear end, got the rear end up in the air and fanning. They're telling the rest of them, come in, come in, come in. This is our new home. And I know a lot of people will work the bees without any kind of veil or anything. They've probably been doing it a lot longer. It may be that they communicate by pheromones, by smell. So they have different smells, you know, that indicate this is the queen, attack, whatever. I'm kind of wondering if when we humans become a little bit anxious, if the pheromones that we put off, they're alarm pheromones. Meaning that those of us who work bees who are still not absolutely comfortable, we get a little bit anxious, might be why they tend to be a little more defensive towards us, or they become defensive more easily. So I do, the vast majority of the time, wear a veil, wear gloves, wear a jacket, and even when wearing that, if I think there's a chance that they might be a little bit more defensive, I actually will put like an extra layer of sweats underneath at least my jacket. Basically just another layer that their stingers can't get through. It puts a barrier that's thicker than their stinger is long. The veil that I use, in order to make sure that it does not contact my skin or my face where they can get through the veil. If I've got a sweat top or a hoodie on, I put the hoodie up. I always wear a ball cap. That keeps them from get on top of my head and pop me, which I've had them do when it's just the thin material of the veil sitting directly on top of my head. So that ball cap does that, and the bill of the ball cap keeps the front of the veil well away from my face. So maybe I go a little bit overboard, but it allows me to stay a little bit calmer. If I've got enough layers on and stuff, I can work a colony that is really, really pissed and not get stung. Now, it may take a while for me to get away from them, and I may have to go quite a distance and be gone for quite a while before they finally start leaving me alone. But at least I've got my suit of armor on and I can remain relaxed. Right before a storm, at dusk, or just certain colonies, they will get after you, and even if you get used to the stings, at some point, everybody, too many stings is too many stings, and I don't want to find out where that is for me. As a kid, growing up, you could not, if there was a bee in the room, almost a bee anywhere in the house, you couldn't get me in there. So the mere fact that I'm actually working bees is a pretty good change for me. It's overcoming an awful lot. But I did make sure that I've got 10 full frames in this medium box. I have learned the hard way that, yeah, you can put 4 or 5 frames in there and the colony will get in there, and you'll say, well, I'll come back in a week or a few days and put the rest of them in there. And when you catch a swarm, they are all about building comb. They're going to build that comb so fast, and you'll end up having to rip a bunch of bird comb out to get the new frames in. So if at all possible, put in however many frames, full frames you can. If it's a 10 frame box like this is, and you've only got 5 with foundation, that's okay. I would checkerboard them, you know, foundation, empty. If you put 2 empties next to each other, they're going to do bird comb and bridge them. They're going to put them the way they want to. But if you put you checkerboard them, alternate them, foundation empty, and keep them close, it kind of forces them on that empty one to draw it straight. So you can do that. So I think at this point I've got the vast majority of them in there. There are a few stragglers still up on the tree itself in a couple places, and I think they're just drawn to the original scent that was there. So I'm going to leave this here, this box here, and keep checking back on it, and then maybe around dusk or something like that I can come back and put some duct tape or something over the front of it to keep them from getting out. Normally I would put straps and strap it all together so that I could transport it, but since this is my front yard, I'm just going to move it to the backyard. Once I've got it taped up and secured, it'll be light enough I can just pick it up and move it where I want it. So a lot of rambling, but hopefully you see something interesting, and I may just leave the camera there for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.